Okay, I think we are live right now. Let's see. This is going to be our new moon in Capricorn live. Hello, everyone. I am a little bit late. I actually didn't time this session. I just decided I'm going to show up live whenever I am done with all the other things I have been doing. I am overwhelmed with work. Hi, Ayushi, you're the first one. Congratulations. I'm really overwhelmed with everything, guys, but in a good way, not in a bad way. I'm doing obviously my Jungian therapy training, and I'm part of something called a dream school with some Jungian therapists, and it's all super exciting and really fun. Oh, that's so kind of you to say, Ayushi. Hopefully, one day I will be able to meet you all. That is my dream. Maybe at some point we will have more funds, or we will have the opportunity to meet in person. Maybe we'll create an event together. That would be amazing. Yeah, so this new moon is taking place. Actually, I should just begin with the fact that it would be helpful if you guys could have a look in your birth chart and see where this new moon is taking place and see what planets it's touching. Whether it's touching your Saturn, your Jupiter. I'm going to drink a little bit of coffee. I am slightly tired, even though I constantly feel like I'm not doing enough or I'm not doing too much, but I feel constantly overwhelmed by everything I have to do, and it is quite a lot, yeah. For me, this new moon is taking place on my Neptune. I have a natal Neptune in Capricorn, and it is kind of giving me these feelings of being dreamy, but also overwhelmed and emotionally stimulated. So feel free to share with me, guys, whatever it is that you're going through at this new moon in Capricorn. I have here some oracle decks that I want to pull some cards from for you. We're going to do tarot card pulls, so think of questions as well. I have here the Earth and Bone Oracle. Honor the concepts of rebirth and transformation. I adore it. It's black and blue, and it has these gorgeous skeleton themes. And I associate skeletons with Capricorn energy, with Saturn, with the devil. Hi, guys. Hi. Happy new moon in Capricorn. I'm feeling both excited and incredibly tired, both dreamy and also in need of a plan. It's like very contradictory energies. I also feel like my eyebrows are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not eyebrowing, you know. They refuse to do their biological duty. But whatever, I'm just gonna accept them as they are. You guys are just gonna see me having crazy eyebrows. C'est la vie. Ayushi saying, yes, I'm also manifesting a special person. I want to know what he feels and thinks of me. Sure, I'm just going to give it 10 minutes so that more people can join us, and then I can begin pulling the live cards. And then I think this time I'm going to do it differently because it's a new moon. I'm going to begin first with pulling cards for you guys, and then I'm going to talk about the general energies and some things that I've been thinking of with the astrological energies and what we may have as energy that is available to us to work with in the coming lunar cycle. Because today we are beginning a new cycle of affirmations, planting seeds, actions. You guys know that with the new moon energy, this is a time to get work done. This is a time to launch. This is a time to put effort. Yeah. New moons are moments when it's like you get a piece of ground and you have to raise vegetables, you know, so that you don't die, so that you have something to eat in the future. So you need to start thinking, I'm going to plant a row of cucumbers, I'm going to plant a row of tomatoes, I'm going to plant a row of onions, so that 6 months from now, they're going to bloom. Yeah, they're going to blossom, they're going to create their fruits, create their vegetables, and I'm going to be able to eat and not die. Yeah. So that's why it's super important. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Illusion. That's why it's super important to work with the energy of a new moon. The general rule with lunar energy, you celebrate at a full moon. Full moon is the time when you get your crops, when you get your rewards, when you cash in. Yeah, when you inflate your bank account, hopefully, God bless. Full moons are moments when you celebrate all the beautiful people that you have met, that you have maintained relationships with, right? And new moons are moments when you begin these things, when you go out and you meet people and you start the connections, when you go out and you make financially durable decisions, when you begin a new job, when you begin a new project, when you can fix certain bad habits or certain toxic traits that you may be having. Because as you guys know, it's very hard to control other people. We can only control ourselves. That's the stuff that we were given by the divine to work with. Yeah. So it's really good. Sometimes there are periods when you will find that it's not within your grasp, it's not within your control to be able to plant new seeds, but these seeds are planted for you. And these are usually new moon eclipse times and full moon eclipse times. So when we have an eclipse period, that's a moment when your free will is blocked, because it's usually considered that the divine steps in and brings something into your life, which is karmic, which has to happen. It is fated. And then with the full moon eclipse, it takes something out of your life. It completes it. It releases you of a burden. You have paid your due. You have burned your karma. So we are about to enter an eclipse corridor. We're in the shadow of a Mercury retrograde. We're in the shadow of an eclipse corridor. February is going to be insane, mostly because we are going to begin the month with a full moon in Leo. Yeah. So on the 1st of February, we're going to have a full moon in Leo. And on the 17th of February, we are going to begin our first eclipse. And it's going to happen right before the retrograde kicks in. And the second eclipse is going to happen in the middle of the retrograde, right before the spring equinox. Yeah. So it's going to be a bumpy and very chaotic end of the actual astrological agrarian year. Yeah. Because you guys know, no matter what the patriarchy says, the actual natural seasonal astrological year begins on the 21st of March. Yeah, with the sun at 0 degrees Aries. It's springtime. Nature comes back to life. We come back to life naturally, organically. And that's when shit begins to get down. And it's also going to be the beginning of the new lunar year, right? So we're going to celebrate the year of the fire horse. Finally, we're going to have fire. Oh my God, there is so much fire coming. And when I'm saying about this, I'm talking about so many planets by the end of this year are going to be in fire signs. We're going to have the South Node in Leo. We're going to have Jupiter in Leo. We're going to have Saturn and Neptune in Aries. All those of you who have planets in fire signs and have been feeling low on energy, restrained, blocked, limited, like you are sad and melancholic. There's going to be some astrological vitamin D injected into your psyche with all of this fire energy in the skies. And February is going to also be, sorry, I'm going to bring it back down because my excitement got the best of me and I went all the way to the end of the year. But we have to go through the year first. But bringing it back down to the more recent future, in February, we're going to have a lot of planets in Aquarius. And as you guys know, Aquarius, although it's fixed air, it's not the most stable energy. Yeah, it's air that moves around like a tornado. So we're going to have Pluto, Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars in Aquarius. So a whooping 5 planets and 5 big ones, 5 important ones. I mean, any gathering, if you throw Pluto in, it's going to turn dark and crazy and out of this world, you know. But it's exciting. It's like exciting energy, lots of communication, people feeling the need to fight for their freedom, people feeling the need to rebel. So it's about time. It's about time, because I'm tired of all this depressive water and earth energies. Oh my God. like, like literally, you know. So yeah, I've been having my ascendant and my moon sign completely battered down in the last 2 years and a half. Like, my Libra ascendant and my moon in Sagittarius have been fighting to live, fighting to exist, fighting to feel, fighting to be themselves. And my sun in Pisces, not to mention, has been really struggling to hold them together. But it hasn't been the worst transit. I have to say that there were some really good things that happened in terms of my personal development and growth. Because as you guys know, whenever life challenges us, it's actually a blessing in disguise. You are being taught a lot of things at a very fast pace, and that's why it can feel irritating and overwhelming. And you're getting sick of it and tired of it. But this growth is good for you. Sometimes the divine teaches you by taking things away from you, by pushing you to be patient, by making you wait, by giving you detours, because what you want may be bad for you and you need to spend some time thinking about what you want exactly, and to see the ways, to see the error of your ways, to not develop an ego. If your ego is too inflated, you will be blocked, you will be limited, you will be put back to the drawing board, so that you can get better. Yeah, so that you can go back to your light, so that you can become a being of peace, a being of balance again, and not a being of extremes, and not a being of hubris. Yeah, so it's all good. Even the bad transits are actually really good. And yeah, you can see that my hair is it's just crazy. It's just doing its thing. I don't know. I have no control over my hair lately. Having the sun at almost perfect degree with Saturn is really blocking my capacity to feel, uh, what is the word? To feel feminine, or being able to feel dreamy. I feel like a work machine. That's how I feel at the moment. I get up and I do, and I don't feel like relaxed or okay until I complete all of my tasks, you know? It literally, like, I have an old man sitting on my shoulders shouting at me, do this, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. And then only at the end of the day, when all of the work has been done and everything is put in order and it looks okay, can I breathe a sigh of relief? I can watch a movie and fall asleep. But that's life under Saturn. It's, dude, get your ass moving, finish what you have to do. And I keep adding all sorts of things to do to my schedule, because I want to improve and I feel quite ambitious at the moment. So yeah, those of you who are born Sun in Capricorn, Sun conjunct Saturn, how is your life? Let me know, because I don't think I would be able to hold on to this energy for years on end, for decades on end. It's it is very tiring. It is very soul draining. Yeah, it's very materialistic somehow. It's very pragmatic, to the point where you don't have time for the soul. You don't have time for the soul. You know, I can barely have time to say a prayer or two. Is it a good time for a haircut? For me personally, it will be very soon, because Venus is entering Aquarius, and I will be going through my Venus return. So whenever you have a Venus return, or whenever you have the transit of Venus compatible with your Venus or with your sun sign, that's always a good time to schedule a haircut, or beauty treatments in general, cosmetic surgeries as well. Yeah. So for example, Venus is in Capricorn at the moment. And if you are a sun in Taurus, this is a good period to go to the hairdresser, you know, or if you're a sun in Virgo, a sun in Pisces or a sun in Cancer, because those are compatible signs with Capricorn. Other things are, for example, if you're having your birthday during your solar return, you are getting a lot of energy, attention. You're getting this warmth back into your life. A lot of people feel drawn towards you around your birthday. And that is also a good period to get a haircut. Unless it is one of those birthdays when Pluto is exactly conjunct your sun by transit, or Saturn is exactly conjunct your sun. So, for example, my birthday this year is going to be, actually, it's going to be the first one without Saturn. But Saturn is still going to be in between my natal sun and Jupiter. So still there's going to be some restrictions. Still there's going to be some blocks. Miss Eppa is saying we have a workaholic lifestyle. I mean, capitalism, right? You have to hustle. It doesn't matter what you do, you have to hustle to survive, especially as the world's economies are flailing as they are, like everybody's grasping for whatever they can get. But at the same time, I don't know what to say, because this Neptunian energy is very dualistic. I've been having these moments of this intense need to do a lot of things, this ambition, this pressure to do a lot of things from Saturn. But then Neptune has also been like, it's okay, things are going to work out. You're incredibly blessed. Feel grateful for what you have. It's like, it's been connecting me, like Neptune this whole month has been so Neptunian to me, because this new moon is taking place on my natal Neptune in Capricorn, but also because Neptune in Pisces is going to wrap its transit since 2012, when the Mayan calendar ended. We've been having this incredibly, I would say, incredibly delusional, but also gorgeous transit of Neptune, because we were lucky, because we were the generation that got to experience Neptune domicile. So Neptune exactly in the sign in which it rules, in Pisces. So that's why tarot readings have erupted into the collective. That's why people have gotten more in touch with spirituality. That's why we have words such as twin flames. That's why we're reading vibes and energies of each other. That's why we're using crystals in our workplaces. Because of Neptune and Pisces, you can thank Neptune and Pisces for cults, delusions, but also a romantic renaissance, tarot readings being used more often and not being so hidden and occult. So yeah, some good things, some bad things, they're all messed up together, because that's life, right? I'm really grateful for it. I'm really grateful. And I'm also excited to see how life after Neptune is going to be like, because it's going to be very soon. It's going to be next week. On the 27th of January, Neptune is entering Aries, and it will stay in Aries, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, it's for the next 14 years. Yeah, I think Uranus is going to be in Gemini for the next 8 years. Neptune is going to be for about 14 years. Saturn is going to be for 2 years and a half. And Jupiter in Leo is coming on the 1st of July. As a point of comparison, the way the 1st of February is going to be like for you guys, 1st of July is going to have a mirrored energy, because on the 1st of February this year, we're going to have a full moon in Leo. Yeah. And it's going to sit in opposition with Pluto. And then it's going to actually be supported by, it's going to be supported by Neptune in Aries, because it's going to make a beautiful trine. And then we're going to have on the 1st of July, Jupiter entering Leo. So Leo energy, very strongly, powerfully present this year. And then we're going to have from the 19th of August, the South Node in Leo and the North Node in Aquarius. So we're going to have, for the next 18 months from August, we're going to have the South Node sitting with Jupiter for 1 year, and then the North Node sitting with Pluto for 18 months. New world order. Socialism is going to come back, okay? Expect massive uprisings, all sorts of people kind of like wanting to take the power back. I don't know, maybe we're all so ambitious and kind of stressed out with work because these are the dying days of capitalism. I have no idea. At least capitalism in this form, in this neoliberal, abusive, greedy form, because as you guys know, Uranus in Taurus is gonna be kaput. So enough of this asshole. I am done with Uranus in Taurus. It was the worst transit ever. I am going to put it into words as bluntly as I can. I fucking hated this transit. It killed us. It killed our economy. It brought back to the surface so many abuses of power, so much greed, like blatant, in your face. I'm wiping my face with you on the floor kind of greed. Yeah. Like, look at what countries are doing, invading each other on the premise of protection, but actually it's just greed. It's just, let's steal the resources of another country. Let's take down the president so we can get the oil, you know, under the guise of protecting people. So yeah, it feels so good to finally get it out of my system. I hated Uranus and Taurus. Everyone hated it. I'm pretty sure that Taurians were not necessarily the most relaxed under this transit. That has changed their lives in many different weird ways. It's just not working. It's just not working well. Uranus and Taurus, it's like trying to fit a square into a hole. And it's not actually producing a beautiful mandala, because the whole principle of a mandala is the union of opposites, where you get to design a square inside a circle, so on and so forth. No, it lacked spirituality completely. So yeah, Uranus is finally going to be in a sign that it will love. It will get into an air sign, and it will start to do its beautiful work of changing our awareness through communication, not through stealing each other's possessions or greedy tactics or uh, having these contests of stubbornness with each other. There has been just so much ridiculous stubbornness, you know? It's like such stalemates, like in a Clint Eastwood movie where, you know, he pulls the gun out and the villain pulls the gun out and they just stare at each other and they spit on the ground and nothing happens. But there is this horrible tension because you know that at any point, one of them is going to pull the gun and actually shoot, you know? So that's Uranus and Taurus. And meanwhile, while they were looking at each other trying to decide who's going to shoot first, one of them was stealing from the other person's bag or something like that, you know? Anyway, sorry guys, I feel like I'm becoming a little bit too militaristic with this energy, but yeah, as I said, I'm trying to get a hold of this final degree of Saturn conjunct my sun. Ashley's saying, going to make a nice fresh cup of my Christmas coffee. Do you guys still have your Christmas tree up? I mean, I still had mine. I really wanted to keep it until my birthday. I have a tradition. I always keep my Christmas tree all the way up until the equinox, because I think it's really nice to take it down exactly as spring is beginning. But my fellow cats decided something else. Yeah, they took care of the situation. I woke up in the morning and my book tree was on the ground. You know, they redecorated in the middle of the night. You know. Yeah, what can I say? They didn't like the book selection. I guess I don't know. They felt the need to express themselves creatively. So it's okay. I got a picture. I snapped the picture before it was destroyed, so it's fine. Yeah, so I don't know. Sorry if I came across as too intense at the beginning of the session. I just want to bring home the important message that in spite of all the madness that is going on right now, just wait for it. Things are going to change for the better, okay? And I do not believe in this fear that is propagated at the moment that, oh my God, things are just going to go worse and worse. No, they went worse for a while. It was necessary. We had the transits that we had. you can only do so much. When a specific energy is available to you, you cannot just do that thing that you want to do. You have to do something else that the transit is pushing you to do, Like, for example, I was born with my Sun conjunct Jupiter. So I'm a person that is so driven by purpose and growth. I naturally want to grow things, from growing plants to, I don't know, doing a lot of things, having enough fun so I can help more people, so I can do more, so I can, I'm always learning new things. I'm always teaching myself new skills. But I just couldn't do it with Saturn. Saturn was blocking me. Whatever I was trying to do, it was taking stuff away. It was pushing me towards minimalism. It was pushing me towards cleaning up things, towards cutting back, scaling down. So you just can't do it. Sometimes the transit is just going to push you in the direction in which it has to push you, even though you still have free will, but it's kind of like your free will is limited by the energy available. It's like instead of having 7 options as you think you have only 2. At least, thank God, you have those 2, right? Thank you so much. I really love this place as well. It's very cozy. It's very nice. And the best thing about it is that at the moment, I'm very conscious of protecting it, protecting my space, protecting my energy. I'm going to devote more time and energy into that. Pluto in Aquarius is very brutally reminding me of the need to protect myself. Because at the same time, there's a really interesting process that is happening inside of me, waking up to my value. I'm really, after a period of long tests and problems and trials, I'm really understanding my worth and the impact that my words and my energy and just my whole being, like when I walk into a room or um, I used to really put myself down and I used to not see it, the value that I have. And now, as I'm really working on things and as I'm trying to learn from my mistakes, I'm also encountering the opposite process, which is I'm realizing like what a wonderful person I am. It's strange. It's like I was coming face to face with aspects of my shadow in the last 2 years. And there were so many things that made me feel guilty and made me feel bad, like there was something terrible or evil inside of me. And now, as I'm trying to work with it and exercise myself, of this pain, I'm realizing, hang on a minute, wait a minute. you know, you can't be awful without being awesome at the same time. It just doesn't make sense. It's like they're mirror images. If you feel that you are awful, you are also awesome at the same time. You just don't see the other side. You're like you have a blindfold on the other eye and you're only seeing with one eye. So yeah, it's really helping. It's almost like God had to take everybody away from my life so I could understand what an awesome person I am. And now, as I'm understanding that I am an awesome person, after a period of feeling that I am awful, um, I'm attracting new people, and now I have to be a bit more selective with these people. And I like being selective and I like to protect myself and I like to keep people at arm's length with the pole stick and to kind of, yeah, as I said in the previous live, there should be a subscription-based access to you. Your club is exclusive. And it's not because you're mean, it's because you have something to protect. You are like a bank with a safe that has an access code. Not everybody's going to be given that access code. Not everybody's going to walk through the bank's door. Not everybody's going to know the address to your bank. There will be tiers. There will be levels. There will be specific entry rooms, waiting rooms. And not everybody's going to get to that safe. Just very few people, maybe 1 or 2 or a special person, So exactly. And it's not just your romantic self. So don't see yourself only from a romantic point of view as having subscription access, but see yourself with everyone, with your mother, with your father, with workmates, with friends. There are tiers. You are a multi-layered individual. And it's good to keep parts of yourself secret. You don't have to tell everybody, you know? The only being that's going to know who you are completely is the being that has created you, mind, body, and soul, which is the divine. And in front of the divine, you will always be naked, you will always be vulnerable, you will always be known. But to each other, we have the luxury of being unknown. And it's actually quite hot and it's actually quite interesting to not know everything about a person, to not want to know everything about a person. I think that mystery in life needs to be preserved. And that's the beauty of this new moon in Capricorn, because the things that I'm discussing right now and that I feel guided to share with you are very much attuned to Capricorn energy. It is about finding value in things that are true worth, not money necessarily or material goods. These are just like wrappers, outer wrappers to what is actually of real value. Right? You buy a really beautiful house so that you can live inside of it, so that your family and your loved ones can live inside of it. They are the value. They are what makes the place holy and valuable to you. It's not the house, you know? The house can have many different objects. It can look in a certain way. You can put like protection devices around it, but not the house in itself is the valuable thing, but how it feels to you and the people you bring into it and the memories you create when you are inside of it. That is the true value. And that is the only thing you will take with you once you die. Okay. Those are the only thing, the memories. So it's really important at the moment with this new moon in Capricorn, when you're thinking about what do you want to create next, think about what is truly valuable to you. What do you give worth to? What do you spend money on? How much money do you like to spend? What are the things that you value? And also, why do you do these things? Do they give you specific feelings that you may be able to get from other places, like feelings of happiness and safety? Could you give yourself these feelings in the absence of buying certain things, right? Like sometimes we don't need a lot, you know, you just need bare necessities like a roof over your head, feeling warm, some food in your belly. You don't really need thousands of purses and thousands of, I don't know, skirts or shoes or whatever. They look good, they are nice, they give you momentary pleasure, but you don't really need them. You know, sometimes they can actually be problems on the path towards experiencing your freedom. Yeah. Because they can, for example, when you want to move home or when you want to travel for work or when you want to, I don't know, downgrade or upsize your place of living, you're going to come across this problem. What am I going to do with all the shit I have acquired throughout my life, you know? And that's where another element comes in. If you really had beautiful things and if you kept them, but you had too much of them, you created a lot of abundance, then there comes the other beautiful value of generosity. Give it to somebody else. Give joy to somebody else. Give the experience that you had from that object to somebody else. You took really good care of it. It was yours for a while. Share it with somebody else. You know, like share the experience. Like that's what happens to me when I give a tarot deck or when I give a book. You know, I love to give tarot decks because, as you guys know, you are supposed to receive your first tarot deck. You're not supposed to buy it yourself. You become initiated through this act. So whenever I give a tarot deck to somebody that is interested in tarot, I initiate that person. And for me, that is an honor. And it's more exciting to me, that feeling of initiating somebody, than actually the feeling of owning a tarot deck, because I have so many of them. And not to say that they are not important. Most of these decks were gifts and they came from you guys, and I'm really, really grateful for them. But it's just sometimes I don't vibe with a specific tarot deck, and I think of a person and I think of a tarot deck, and I'm like, that would go really well with that person, you know? Let's see if they would accept it. Let's give them a gift. Let's initiate, you know? It's the same with books. It's the same with plants, so thinking about the economy of value, right? And how we move things, how we may find pleasure in detaching from this idea of ownership, because that's what's going to happen to us gradually from this year onwards. With so much energy in fire signs and air signs, we're going to appreciate less the idea of objects as protection givers, because that's a very earth sign mentality. Earth signs think that if you have physical things around you, you are safe, you are doing well, you are wealthy. You may be from a point of view if reality wouldn't be such a big illusion, right? So what this energy of Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius is going to teach us is that you don't need all this crap. What you need is to talk and to have people around you. You need to rely on other people's minds. You need to learn to listen to other people because they have fascinating stories. And even if we don't agree with each other, so what? Crack a joke. Life is funny. It's really cool to listen to another person's viewpoint, even if you don't like them or agree with them. It's still the pleasure of sharing ideas, the pleasure of putting thought into word, right? So we're just gonna float with that in the next period. So right now with this new moon in Capricorn, you can think about what you can leave behind, what you don't need anymore, what you can give to other people. And especially you can press the reset button on your values. What are your values? What would you like to create? Because every new moon is an opportunity to begin again. If you made mistakes, if you cut out people that maybe you shouldn't have, if you feel that you were a bit too controlling in the past, or maybe you were a bit too cold-hearted, or you didn't pay attention to people when you should have, it's okay. You're human, you're fallible, you're still lovable. Begin again. Just do it again. I have to tell you guys that this morning I woke up at around 9 o'clock, and then I had an online course for my training, and then I had to take like a break in between that course and the next course that I had, and I just played for 1 hour Dave the Diver. And I love this game. It's so fun. It's a game that was actually released during the Saturn and Pisces era in 2023. And it's about this little fat guy who is incredibly skillful, and he jumps into the water and he has to like collect fish, but he's also fighting octopuses, and he's also like trying to keep the ocean clean. And he's being kind of used by his friends, but at the same time he's incredibly brave. And I just love him because it's like I died about 4 times today when I was playing Dave the Diver. I made these stupid mistakes, and then I realized that's okay. Let's get back into the water. Okay, let's get back. Let's try it again. That's why I love games so much, because games show you that it's okay to begin again. I really wish that we would have more of these moments in life. But if you are to think about it in the big game of life, that's why I love astrology so much, because it shows you that life is like a cosmic game. In this big game of life, we have save points, right? And these save points, these reset moments, start the level again. These are the new moons. These are the new moons. These are your save points. These are your restart your level. Yeah. If you want to consider it in this way, if you want something that's even more shorter, every sunrise is a restart, every day, every time. And I would highly recommend that if you're feeling incredibly depressed in this period, I would highly recommend that you push yourself, that you force yourself to wake up a couple of minutes before sunrise, whenever sunrise is happening in your hometown. Force yourself to wake up in the morning. Just make yourself a nice cup of coffee or matcha or tea, whatever you begin the day with, and look outside. Look outside and watch sunrises for at least 7 days. I guarantee that your perspective on your life is going to change. And it may seem a little bit naive, but it does something to you. It does something to your soul, something that no medication or psychiatrist can do for you. You really just have to watch sunrises. If you have a disease of the soul, and depression is a disease of the soul, most mental health diseases are diseases of the soul, although we improperly define them as just mental. But they are also diseases primarily of the heart. And when this hurts, what you can do is you have to reconnect it to the natural, to the environment. And one relatively easy thing you can do if you feel disconnected from the environment is to catch sunrises and to hunt your dreams. You have to be a dream hunter and a sunrise watcher. Yeah. I feel like what was the name of that movie? Oh my God. Irvine Welsh, Trainspotting. There you go. I feel that in a weird, twisted 90s kind of fashion, Irvine Welsh in the novel Trainspotting that inspired the famous movie with Ewan McGregor, Irvine Welsh was referring to Trainspotting in this way as well, but it was kind of like a bleak metaphor for people who had no future in life and all they could do is watch trains, go by. And in this way, they watch their life go by. But there can also be a lot of poetry and beauty in doing simple things in life, like, yeah, just watching trains go by or having a couple of moments at sunset to reflect on how your day went, or a couple of moments at sunrise to think about there is a possible new beginning. I can do things all over again. Yeah. Sorry, I got really inspired to talk to you guys, so I kind of went on this flow. Um, a lot of you are saying in the chat, I feel so depleted. Capricorn is tough. I will do that. I finally watched the movie Gaslight yesterday. It was so good. I have to write about it for one of my classes. Okay, I'm going to watch that, Ashley. I had no idea about it. Thanks for the recommendation. Happy new moon, Enedwana. Happy new moon, everybody. My shirt, it has these really cute, it has zebras on it. Yes, I am dressed in clothes from secondhand store. I love secondhand stores. They have like the coolest things ever, and you can bring life to old styles, and you can bring new life to old clothes by hunting down really interesting clothes in secondhand shops. And it's also, they are relatively cheaper compared to the pre-made ones. Okay, are we ready to begin? Oof, I feel like I was like really, I don't know, I felt like a lot was coming out of me. But I hope it makes sense. I hope it's helping you guys in some way. Sometimes I just go on these rants during the lives and I have no idea if it makes any sense. I think I rewatched 2 lives at one point because I had the feeling, I was feeling a little bit like, ugh, was I just saying nonsense? Because I was wondering whether I should continue these lives or not. But then I realized, oh, it's not that bad what I'm saying. It's just in my mind. In my mind, I am a much tougher critic with myself than in reality, what happens in reality. So that's why it's really important for you guys to go over certain things that have happened in your life, analyze them, record yourself. Yeah. Record your dreams, record yourself having a presentation. If you are going to study yourself like we do in this selfie society, right? Then do it with a purpose. Do it with the purpose of knowing who you are, not only with the purpose of acquiring likes or getting John or Tom or Harry to slide into your DMs because you look hot in a dress. That can happen as well. I mean, naturally, it's a consequence of you guys being hot. But I think that the focus should be, who am I, rather than how do I look for other people, Like, take the power back, take the focus onto yourself and ask yourself, who am I? Let's try this. Let's change this. Let's experiment with this. Let's put this idea into practice and find out through this who I am. Yes, Nemosin, exactly. Journaling helps thousands of times. I don't even know what I should say to recommend it, it is free therapy. Yeah. And it's the kind of therapy that you give to yourself in the absence of another stranger that you pay, or a chat GPT, I don't know, Gemini AI intelligence that hypothesizes on your behavior. Make a relationship to yourself, like in order to go well through life, in order to grow, you need to have a relationship to yourself. And that relationship sometimes should be the priority. Maybe not all the times. There will be moments in your life when other people, the relationship that you have with other people will be the priority. And it's only natural that this happens. But the relationship to yourself should most of the time be a priority, and it should be something that you work at. You see yourself as your friend, you see yourself as your ally, as somebody that you care for, like a mother would care for its baby, or a lover would care for you. And if you are going through periods in which you are fighting with yourself, stop and work at that. Ask yourself, what is going on here? Why do I hate myself? Why am I doing this? Why am I, thinking this? And sit down and speak to yourself as you would speak to a friend that you are concerned about. I'm worried about what you're doing to yourself. Let's have a conversation. This is an intervention. Yeah. And the best way that you can do it is to journal. Yeah. Let's sit and talk. Yeah. And in addition to this, you can also have, if you find writing by hand too annoying, you can use your laptop, or you can have audio conversations with yourself, your private podcast. A lot of people are so focused nowadays on producing things that they can sell on the capitalist market. And a lot of these things are related to their bodies, their identities, how they can give pleasure to other people through the way they look, the way they speak, the intelligent ideas that they have. But you also have to carve out some time throughout the day to work at the relationship that you have with yourself, because if you're not going to do it, nobody else will. Or if people are just going to do it for you, they're only going to do it in this way in which it's not going to make complete sense to you, because most of the time people relate to us through our mask. Yeah. Very few people are going to find it easy to see behind your mask, especially if you don't allow them that privilege. Yeah. So a lot of people are seeing us through first house and ascendant content and midheaven 10th house content. Very few people are going to see our 7th house and our 4th house, right? What lies in the basement and what is in the living room. People usually just see the front door and the title, what's next to the front door. That's the 10th house, our public image, and our midheaven. And then they just see the wrapping, the outer coating, yeah, the ascendant, the first house. So, for example, you could be a really, I don't know, soulful, beautiful person. You could be like a wonderful sun in Cancer, conjunct Jupiter in the 4th house, let's say. But very few people are going to see that part of you. If you have Pluto and Sagittarius on the ascendant, they're going to see you like a wild child, like a person that they can't hire or that they can't tame, because you're never going to listen to them. You're always going to chase your good luck someplace else. You're always going to gamble with the opportunities that life will place in front of you. You don't need any help because you look fit and healthy and tall and everything is okay for you. When in reality, with that sun in Cancer, you actually do enjoy being protected and protecting others. You're actually very sensitive and artistic, but people are only going to judge you by your ascendant in Sagittarius conjunct Pluto and Sagittarius. So you have to be aware of these things, yeah? You guys are seeing me right now from my perspective of my midheaven in Leo, yeah? That's why the spiritual social has a certain energy. When you meet me, you see my ascendant in Libra, and right behind it hides Pluto and Scorpio. Yeah. So usually people see me as, wow, pretty, and approachable. But then as soon as they start talking to me and that Pluto energy begins to overshadow my ascendant in Libra, I shock them, I intimidate them, I arouse them. It's like very powerful reactions. I get very creepy and powerful reactions from people, yeah, because of that Pluto working its thing. But then very few people see my my seventh house in Aries, yeah, where I have my Mars. Very few people see that. My therapist does. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Saturn transiting over the border between the 6th and the 7th. It's gonna be fascinating. Yes, okay, I'm gonna shut up right now. I hope that through this personal example, I am also going to entice you to see yourself in this different way. I mean, like when you begin thinking about your birth chart, it's a lifelong experience. It's not just something that you do in a weekend. Somebody looks at your birth chart, you get 10 pages, you read them, and that's it. Okay, now what? My birth chart lives inside of me every day, and I every day think about it. It's like when I interact with people, I think about my very zany Venus in Aquarius. And I'm thinking, am I being too shocking right now? Am I too spontaneous? Am I actually being consistent? Because I know my Venus in Aquarius can be, changing her mind all over the place. I can be very warm one second and very cold the next, because that's Aquarius energy. So keep these things in mind, keep in your mind. Do transits affect our pets? Yes, 100%. Yeah. If you think only about how the energy of the moon can make your cats go crazy, or dogs, dogs start barking, wolves start howling around the full moon. Just think about that. Like, so easy. The moon is the one that has the most impact on animals and pets here on Earth. But also, I've noticed that, much like ourselves, pets have very distinct personalities. And I do believe it's according to the sign in which they were born. Buddhists believe that a pet is actually just the human reincarnated in a different form. So if you think about it, we may be reincarnated as a cat or a dog in another lifetime. So this means that transits will continue to affect us, because transits affect the soul and not so much the body. If the body is affected by a transit, it's because the soul is trying to learn something. For example, if you have Jupiter in the first house and you're not traveling, you're not making decisions at a soul level to expand your life, to grow your network, to make changes that bring good luck, you may put on weight, because that energy of abundance, of growth, has to manifest for your soul to experience it somehow. And if you don't travel, if you don't learn, if you don't grow, if you don't get in touch with the divine, all of these ways through which we can feel like we are expanding, your waistline is going to start to expand, your trousers are going to expand, because you have to experience, the soul needs to experience this, And that's the big problem in astrology, because a lot of people think about good and bad, which is a very childish way of looking at life. Children think about good and bad, and for them, it's really important to develop this moral judgment. But as adults, we have a more complex understanding of life. And also, astrology is kind of showing us as well, at the level of the soul, nothing is truly good or bad. They are all just experiences. The soul comes incarnated in a specific culture, in a specific body, with a specific group of parents, with a certain karmic legacy, because it wants to understand itself. Yeah. And that's why it's so hard when we see people who suffer in life more than others, or people who have a lot of wealth and comfort and luxury. And we tend to attribute that to, how should I say, something that is related to them being good or bad. when in reality it is just the soul experiencing reality through that specific material aspect. Sometimes, in order to learn about power and power dynamics, you are born into a disgustingly wealthy family. You have all of your needs met because you are not supposed to think about how am I going to pay bills? How am I going to work for my living? You are supposed to think as a consciousness about why is my father using people for money in order to make our family feel safe and prioritize over and above other families? Or why are all these secrets, for example? Why has my family acquired wealth through secrets? Or what do I do with myself now that I don't have the pressure to work like most people in this world have? What do I do with myself? How do I give meaning to my everyday experience? So the soul needs to understand, how can I fill my time? What is my life purpose? How do I get out of these power dynamics where maybe mommy is controlling me with money or with status? It's not about, even suffering is necessary in certain cases, because that is the only way that a very unripe soul is going to grow, through pain. Uh, I don't know exactly how to put it into words, but we can continue to have these conversations, and I will continue to study and learn. I have so many occult books, and I want to read the Egyptian Book of the Dead. I want to read the Bardo, which is this kind of like Tibetan Buddhist interpretation of the afterlife. Um, I have like a lot of Helena Blavatsky's books. They're all stacked in my library, but it's just that at the moment I'm reading on psychotherapy. So I'm kind of like reading very widely on a variety of different topics, and I just need to make space and to organize knowledge so that once I begin reading something, I may also able to communicate what I'm learning about and to share these things with you guys as well. Everybody keeps talking about their pets. Lexi, do you have any recommendation to learn synastry in depth? You can begin by looking at the works of Liz Green. Liz Green is incredibly intelligent, and she writes in a very funny way as well. And in her book, Astrology for Lovers, she describes the different types, like the Aries male and the Aries woman, and how they are as together and how they are separate. And then what I would recommend is that if you take a book that describes the different astrological personalities according to genders as well, then please take the charts of your favorite celebrities, performers, whatever you can find that is of interest to you, and then try to see how what you are studying and reading fits with what you see in their birth charts. Because there isn't necessarily one book that can completely teach you how to do synastry. You also kind of teach yourself by doing a lot of examples, by looking at patterns, by comparing and contrasting. I learned how to do synastry charts on my own by doing these things and by looking at famous couples, by doing their analysis and by looking at their points of tension and their points of harmony, and by working with my clients as well. I was able to improve my technique, and I was able to understand more about synastry. So it comes with time and experience. And, I can give you recommendations, but if they don't interest you or if they don't attract you, it's going to be very hard to follow through, like maybe Liz Green is not the best kind of writer for you. She fits with me. She's a Virgo sun, so she's my shadow. And I really learn a lot from Virgo people, although I don't agree completely with the way they live their lives. I learn a lot from them, so I can benefit from that. But maybe she's going to piss you off. Maybe you're a Sagittarius sun and you enjoy people that have a more sarcastic or funny description, or are not so methodical or so pessimistic in their writing. So it's important to, I mean, you can begin with that recommendation and then kind of make it your own. You should always make whatever you're studying, whatever you're learning, you should always take it critically and always make it your own. Never idolize anybody to an obsessive degree. I'm learning this right now because I'm part of this community of Jungian therapists. And of course, Jung is like God to us. But I mean, he's a person that also has a very convoluted way of writing. Like, sometimes I don't understand what he's trying to say. It just sounds incredibly mystical, like he almost didn't finish his thoughts. He just wanted to use big words. And I know because he's a South Node in Libra and a North Node in Aries like me. So I know that sometimes when I am uncertain about something, I use big words because I like to hide behind them. So in a way, I understand that Jung was doing this too. It's like, I need to sound intelligent right now because I'm actually ashamed of admitting to other people that I haven't completely thought this idea through. So I'm just going to use words like conjunctio, and then I'm going to let them figure out what that means. So, like sometimes knowing your own birth chart can help you understand other people and your mentors better. Didn't Jung put himself and others through dark times for purpose? Jung, not jungle. Yes, well, because he's a North Node, he was a North Node in Aries, and he had a powerful ascendant in Aquarius, on top of which he had Saturn. It was meant for him to go through a dark night of the soul, because people with a North Node in Aries, they reach their destiny by having to fighting with other people, fighting with themselves. You have to fight, you have to go through that flame. And that's what happened to him. He actually wrote the Red Book, which is the most Aries thing ever. And I always laugh when I look at his choice of color, because yeah, it's very North Node in Aries to write a book and name it the Red Book. So I think it was a combination of fate. He had to go through that, but it was also his attraction towards the dark inside of himself. Because he reached a point in his life where he had everything. He was a father, he was a respected physician, he had a house, his wife was wealthy, and was mostly supporting him, which is really interesting for that time. But he had a lot of things. The only problem was that he went through this separation from Freud, who saw him as almost like a son. Freud believed that Jung could continue his work later on, and he ended up being disappointed because Jung went his own way, and that was the problem. Jung disagreed with Freud passionately, and he felt guilty about disagreeing with him, when in reality, Jung was actually fulfilling his North Node in Aries, which is about, I'm going my own path. I'm going solo. Whether you like it or not, I'm doing it, biatch. So, yeah, so it's fascinating. I look at his birth chart, I look at his biography, because I just finished reading his book, on dreams, memories, and reflections. And it's a word by word account. His description of his life is a word by word account of his birth chart. It is shockingly beautiful. It's like he was so aware of the energies at play in his birth chart. It's just that he didn't put it into words as, well, I actually argued with Freud because I knew that my North Node was in Aries and I was supposed to follow down my own path and argue with people and tell them no. But I'm doing it for him. I may write an article about this because I think it's something quite fun. And I think it's proving the case that astrology is absolutely incredible, and it's such a good tool to know ourselves, and I couldn't recommend it more to people, honestly. Yes, what caused the dark night was his guilt. What caused the dark night was his isolation, because he believed, like, you can imagine, you enter into this exciting group of thinkers, they put you on a pedestal, and then you say no to them. Yeah. And then you have to disappoint them. So over him came these feelings of guilt and shame. He was also involved with that whole Sabina Spielrein thing because he treated her, but then he got in a romantic and erotic connection with her. So he cheated on his wife and he kind of destabilized her after he was doing quite well to her. So he was coming in contact with all of these feelings, like guilt, feeling like he disappointed other people, envy, feeling like he's the bad son, feeling angry and needing to put his anger into words. So the dark night of the soul was the fact that he retreated from the group that supported him, through which he found this brotherhood, and he had to retreat to deal with these heavy feelings on his own. That's the dark night of the soul. That's what Saturn does to you. Saturn separates you from what was cozy and comfortable, and it helps you come face to face with your own problems. If you think that you're a wonderful person, Saturn is going to be like, no, you made a mistake here. Look how you're hurting that person. Look how you said something that was completely shocking. Why are you behaving like this with your mother? Why are you doing this to your lover? What are you doing at work? You're constantly making mistakes. Can't you see that you're wrong all the time? That's why having a Saturn transit, that's why going through a dark night of the soul is so bad, because it's like blow to the ego left and right. You're like shadow boxing, you know? And you stop believing that you're a good person. You constantly feel like there's something wrong with you, like there's something dark inside of you, right? The dark of the soul. So the darkness, whenever you see it, whenever you hear about it, is all about feelings that we don't like. Darkness, human darkness, representations of darkness in horror movies, in horror games, in horror literature, in crime thrillers. They are all about aspects of human life that we don't like. Nobody wants to feel jealous. Nobody likes to feel betrayed. Nobody wants to be cheated on. Nobody wants to be told that they are liars or cheaters. Nobody likes to be wrong. Nobody likes to feel like they have failed in life. Nobody likes to feel used. And yet we are. And yet this is happening, because these are also experiences, part of life, that the soul needs to go through. Yeah. Good. Let's begin with the questions. It's 1 hour. I always say I'm only going to stay for 30 minutes, and we always make it to 1 hour. Thank you, user IK1FI2PF4P. Wow, I actually said it, for asking the questions, so we can just segue into the tarot card pulls. Thank you so much, guys. For those of you who are still here, you are wonderful and very patient as well. Patience is a virtue, so you're very virtuous. Okay. Okay, so for you, user IK1, the answer to your question, when will you get married? 4 months from now. I definitely see that the number 4 is important. So it could be 4 months, most likely 4 years, or on the 4th of the month. That's when you will get married. It could be that you will get married in April. How will your married life be? It will be successful. You will most likely marry when you are older, and or probably with somebody who is older than you. So expect an age gap. Catherine is like, yeah, the bubble is burst. Yeah. Okay. Fine 158. What will my next job be? So fine 158. Your next job is gonna be you may work as a nurse, you may work as an artist, I see here things that have to deal with liquids. Maybe you will work in a bar or for a company that sells beverages or alcoholic, drinks. I definitely see here that it will be a very enjoyable and relaxed kind of job. You're going to like it. It will make you feel good. Lepi, will I move away this year? By the way, it's really nice to see you guys that you are like my regulars here. Lepi, will you move away this year? Oh, there is a high likelihood that you will. Yeah, because I see here that you are going to begin again in your life. There is a doorway here. So I feel an opportunity will be created for you in order to walk through. And I believe around Earth sign months. So, for example, right now we're in Capricorn season. Well, actually, just about. It's just about to change. Yeah, that's why the energy is already so. Okay, we're just about to cross into Aquarius. But yeah, for example, Taurus season or Virgo season. So April, May, August, September. Those are good periods for you to move. What is the relationship I'm currently in meant to teach me? So that's for Maya. Wait, hang on, chat, because you guys are moving too fast. So, Maya, what is the relationship I'm currently in meant to teach me? It's meant to teach you how to develop a backbone, how to stand up and confront your person, how to be bold and to say no and to argue with this person, okay? You see this tree that is growing from her back, you're developing a backbone. This person may challenge you so that you can retaliate, so that you can stand up to this person, look them in the eye, and just tell them what you feel, not what they want to hear. Okay, so Igor, will I get a confirmation of emotions from my crush? When? Yes, I feel like you will get a confirmation, but it may not be emotional. I feel like you will get a reply. It may be something that is delivered in kind of a snarky, sarcastic way. This person could just write you, "What do you want?" Or "I don't have time for this right now." So expect a reply, but the reply is not going to be cozy, tender, or sweet. Just saying, this person is very logical. Let's see. Would love to know what message there is for me for this new moon. Anything at all. So this is Ken. Sorry, not Ken. KCKE7CN. This new moon would like you to focus more on self-care. You should be wise with how you spend your money. This is a good period of you maintaining money rather than wasting it on frivolities. You have more than enough, and you should be really grateful for it because more will come your way. But I feel that it's a period of stability for you. It's a period in which I feel like if not much is happening, be grateful because you are in some way sheltered. Samela, I feel insecure about my career. I am not sure whether I should change cities or stay where I am now, even though I know that staying here will probably not change much for my career. What should I do? Let's see. With the Hermit, I see that it will not be a good period for you to travel at the moment or run away from the place where you are. Just because it's difficult, that doesn't mean that you're not meant to be there. You are actually meant to spend more time at home and to actually work on these feelings that you have been having, to do some introspection and analyze the situation. You need to really spend time with yourself, and the answers are going to come to you. Okay. But running away to another country at the moment is basically just running away from yourself. You have to spend time holding these negative aspects of your life and making sense of them. So don't move, don't change the career. Melone E. Hi, Lexi. I'm facing some misalignment issues in my 7-year relationship. What do you see for us going forward? Wow. You guys are, you're aware of the fact that you are going through the 7-year itch, which is supposed to be a period of, a period of tests for relationships. Okay, so I see here that a big change is happening and new love is coming into your life. Whether this is going to be like a resetting of the love that you feel for your current partner, or actually separating from your partner and beginning again with somebody else. Get a personal reading for that. I don't know, but I see that you're going through a big change, a new beginning. So let the situation unfold as it should be, as it has to. Tokyo Fatisha, will I find my light and creativity again? Yes, you will. And it will be driven by the role model of a Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio man. This could even be a therapist. Like, this would be a great time for you, Tokyo Fatisha, to go and see a therapist, a counselor, to talk to somebody for at least 2 or 3 sessions to talk about this creative block. And I feel like this person, just by listening to you, is going to inspire you to become creative again. This could also be a man that you're crushing on. It could even be a celebrity. It doesn't have to be a real guy next to you. But I feel that falling in lust with somebody is really going to spark your creativity again. Lexi, when will I move out with my dog? And dream job in hospital. You want to move in a hospital? What? Oh no, I think there are two questions in one. So let's see. Sorry. You want to move with your dog in the hospital? What? No, I'm only joking, Nemesis. So let's see. When will you move out? In August, during Leo season. That's when you and your pet are gonna move out. Make sure your pet has no throat problems. Make sure that you take your pet to the vet and that you ask your vet to check the dog's throat, because your dog could have some problems there with eating, chewing, swallowing. Katerina, will I meet my soulmate? Katerina. Yes. Your soulmate, I'm just going to let you know, this is somebody slightly older than you. This could be somebody that was married before or has a child from a marriage, from a long-term commitment. This is an individual that loves pets, may have a dog or a cat or a lizard, as you can see in this image. This is an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And you may even meet this person in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius seasons. So that would be March, December, August. Ofit W18. Will he make a move towards me? What does he feel for me? Will he make a move? Yes, I see. I see that this is going to happen. Yeah. I see that this person is very excited. They think of you with a lot of lust. Yeah. The move that they're going to make towards you could be predominantly sexual. Okay. So don't expect too much. But yeah, this person is coming towards you because you turned them on. Serenity 777. What's next for me in life? Um, What's next for you in life is movement. Things are going to pick up pace. You're going to feel like you're pushed by events and people in your life to go down a specific path, a specific avenue. You may relocate, you may go and study in another country, work in another country. You may get a car and start driving around. Your life is going to become more dynamic. You could even start working out more. And working out in general and just getting back into a sports routine is recommended for us all so that we can process feelings of anger and our past life wounds, because Saturn is going to stay with Chiron. starting from this year. So, yeah, instead of taking out our anger on other people, it's better if we just own it and sweat it out. That's the good vibe with Saturn in Aries. Okay. You're welcome, Maya. You're welcome, Lippy. Uh, no, Mnemosyne, I answered your question earlier. Okay, wait. JG8905. I'm worried of the political climate. Should I still go for my dream job? Can I expect to finally work as a librarian? That is a dream job, being a librarian. Honestly, like for me, as a person who loves books, that was my second career option. Um, yes, there is some unrest, but you're going to be protected from unrest. So I see that you should still go for your dream job. I see that it will be a favorable response. We have the Six of Swords. This is a really successful card. The sixes in general in tarot indicate a balance, a midpoint. So I feel that even though you are worried about the political unrest in a specific region, apply for your dream job and see what happens, because there are people that continue to be protected and blessed even though they live in places of conflict, and you shouldn't let the general atmosphere um, stop you from going down your own path. Nemosin, I don't understand what your second question is about. What do you mean by dream job in hospital? Could you put it into words differently? Because I don't understand what I can answer. Ashley, yes, I was thinking of you. Yes. So this is the Broken Isn't Bad tarot deck. It was created by a Croatian artist. You can follow her on Instagram. Please go and subscribe and follow her because she is wonderful. If I'm not mistaken, she's also a Pisces Sun, and she has this very unique way of drawing in black and white. It's just beautiful, very elegant. Okay. Shefali Tambe 3288. Do you feel me and him have a chance of reconnecting in 2026? No, Shefali. I think you're holding on to a bad apple. Because I see that even though there may be a comeback, maybe this person will come back during the Mercury retrograde. We're going to have one in March. So maybe this person will come back. You're still going to argue with them. They still want to be right. They're not thinking about your feelings. They are just thinking about, I need to be right and I am right and you are wrong. And you can't communicate with a person that believes that. He's not open to dialogue, so he's only going to bring you pain. Let people go, okay? Exes are exes for a very good reason. Okay. Okay, now I see. So Mnemosyne, will you be accepted in the hospital you are applying? Okay, now I get it. Let's see. Yeah, I see that things are going to move very fast. Yeah. I also feel like you may receive more offers from other places. So you're going to be faced with a choice. I feel like in this hospital where you want to work, you will get an offer, but you will get offers from other places. So you're going to have to make a decision. That's going to be the hard part, choosing. Okay, so Sasa, how does he feel about me now? And what is he hiding from me? He's having a headache. He's very worried about this situation. He keeps thinking about something that you guys have discussed. He could be drinking. Not a good energy at all. He's not happy. He's not feeling okay. Yeah. I don't know what he's hiding from you, but he feels pretty broken down by you. Ashley, did someone put a hex or curse on me in November? I might need a personal reading. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can definitely help you with that. I have my special decks. I have 3 very specific oracle decks. And whenever I need to find for myself if I have been hexed, or for my clients that directly ask me, I am pulling cards from those 3 decks. And sometimes it happens that all of the cards I am expecting to fall on the table in the eventuality that a hex is actually happening, they fall to the table and then I get shook. As the kids say it nowadays, it's like the level of prediction of hexes and curses of those 3 specific oracle decks is fire. So let's see what this one says. Did someone put a hex or a curse? No, not at all. The 6 of Pentacles. On the contrary, I think that somebody wanted to give something to you, but you, maybe a shadow aspect of yourself came up to play and you didn't trust them, didn't want to share yourself, didn't want to. You may have gone down a dark way of thinking. So it's just an illusion, Ashley. It's just a trick of the mind. You are not hexed. I see that on the contrary, people want to work with you, give with you. Agatha 444. Hi. Will they ever come back with an honest apology, or is that all the closure I can get? The Magician. This person will come back in a way that will make you feel quite insulted, especially if you argued. This person is going to pretend like nothing bad happened. They may even send you like a meme or a gif or something to crack a joke and seem like they're the funny person. I don't feel like they're going to give you closure or an honest apology, because this person is more interested in having power over you than in loving you like an equal. So get closure on your own, Agatha, and block this person, please. Okay, Ashley, I'm waiting for you. Me and the Broken is in Bad Tarot deck. Does Jack love me, or is it over between us? Shish 3344. Does Jack love Shish 3344? Yes. He's very sweet on you, okay? 9 of Cups, yeah, he's pretty much like enamored by you. I mean, he kind of idealizes you. So definitely expect a comeback from this person. It's not over between you. This person really has put you on a pedestal, okay? I'd like to say, I'd like to stay anonymous, is asking, is going to study in the United Kingdom a good idea? Will I get a job there? Will I meet my future spouse there? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are you putting so much pressure on yourself? Just go to the UK and enjoy the experience. It's already a big step. It's like you're putting so much pressure on yourself. Let's start off with the first question. So, is going to study in the United Kingdom a good idea? Yes, but it will be a lot of hard work. I'm just letting you know. You got the 8 of Pentacles. You're going to have to be very organized and disciplined if you are going to make a life for yourself over there. So, yes, it's a good idea. It will be very good for your financial future, especially. You're going to make money, but it's a lot about discipline and hard work. WAESRTF. When will we meet? In 4 days. Maybe the 4th month of the year would be a more accurate description. So this is April, or the 4th of the month. The 4th of February, the 4th of March, the 4th of April. Number 4 is really important. I think it will be someplace outdoors in front of a church or a temple, because I see this building over there. So this would be a good time to travel or spend more time in a park in your city that is overlooked by a church, because maybe you will bump into this person then. Sasa is asking, does he want to leave me? Why would a person want that? I don't know. Um, You're dealing here with a person that has a lot of burdens to carry. This person feels very tired. I don't think it's you. I think it's this person's life is just really draining them. So, Sasa, I don't think that he wants to leave you. I may say something quite shocking. I think he wants to leave this reality for good, So be careful with him, because I feel like you're dealing here with somebody who has plans to terminate and exit, if you know what I mean. This person is not doing well mentally and may need support and help. So talk to this person. It's really important, guys, that when we are in a connection with somebody, try to see the other person as well. Because most of the time and I get these questions so often, it's like, will this person do something for me? Is this person gonna love me? Will they marry me? Do they listen to me? Will they apologize to me? Love is about caring for someone else like you care for yourself. It's not only about what that person can give you. People are not battery devices into which you plug your dreams and goals and expect them to deliver. You build them through open and honest communication and by checking in. Are you okay with this? Are you in agreement with this? Is that value similar to mine? Will you be happy if we do this together? So just be very careful, guys, because sometimes we can be so demanding and so focused on ourselves in a personal connection that we neglect to check in with our partner. And our partners, they are their own little universes, and they can suffer from things that they don't tell us. And yeah, you just have to be very sensitive and empathetic to your partner as much as you would like them to be sensitive and empathetic to you. That's why this mirror game, do unto others as you would like done unto yourself, right? Yeah, I just felt the need to say this because yeah, I don't know. It's difficult when you have certain goals that you want in life, but that's why it's a good idea not to begin in life thinking that you really want to have your plan put into action by a specific age. Or it's good to have dreams, it's good to have like desires, but it's not a plan that needs to be executed perfectly and at the exact time. It's there should be some openness. There should be openness there, and allow yourself to make mistakes, allow the other person to be human as well. Be flexible, because you may actually get the happiness you are seeking, but not in the way that you imagined it. You may find out that a partner that looks very different than how you imagined is the right person for you, or an age gap relationship is better for you than a same aged relationship, or some sort of like an open type of relationship could be better for you than a traditional marriage, or it's actually easier for you if your partner already comes with children. You don't have to give birth to them yourself. Allow for life to surprise you. And I mean, life is hard enough as it is. Just find happiness and pleasure and joy wherever it is given to you, I would say. Obviously, sometimes when people cross our boundaries, it's good to protect yourself. But it's good in love, because it's love, it's not work, you know? It's a space where we can be creative, we can be more relaxed, or at least we in our minds, in our hearts, we can be more relaxed. But in reality, I see that people are taking the same approach, that they have to work, and they're bringing it into their love life. Like they want a 5-year plan. They want to know what they can rely upon. They want a life insurance policy on their love affair. No, things don't work out like that, you know? Sometimes you're crushing on your best friend's boyfriend, you know? It happens. And you need to deal with that. You need to figure it out, what's going on there, you know? And it's more exciting and it's more fun in this way. I don't know how to put it into words than if you have a plan and you want to execute it perfectly. It's like, by the time I am 30, I will have a career and I will have a husband or a wife and I will have 2 children. Things don't work out nowadays. You know, it's very rare that you see a person doing that. Sometimes people who don't have this plan actually end up having that plan by the time that they are 30, but not because they planned it, but because it just happened, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Um, I like to think of Patti Smith and the way she kind of ruled her life. Like she was this free thinking artist. And when she was hanging out in New York with Robert Mapplethorpe in her book, Just Kids, she wrote about that. What a beautiful book. I highly recommend that you guys read it. Um, you know, she was hanging out with him. He was a gay photographer who was also in love with her. She was also crushing on other artists in their friends group. It was mayhem, but they were each other's rock, you know? And nobody could have predicted that by the time she was 30, around her first Saturn return, she would actually step away from the limelight, from her rock scene, and actually retreat into a nice, cozy place with another artist and have 2 children with him. You know, it's not something she planned. It happened because she found him. You know, they fell in love. He told her if they would like to take a break from the rock scene. She said, yes, let's raise a family. They did that. Unfortunately, he died a couple of years later, and then she transformed from a rock goddess into a writing goddess, you know, writing books about her life and the relationships that she had with the people that she loved so much. Life, you know, like things happen like this, and yeah. The best laid plans, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. People who don't plan to live a normal life tend to live it somehow. Exactly. And the more you try to make your life normal, the more insane it's going to become. Trust me. I've been trying to do this for, I don't know, the first portion of my young life, and it didn't work out. Because I tried, you know, I tried to create stability, and do all sorts of these grown-up things. And yeah, no, it wasn't good for me. It wasn't making me happy. My soul wanted something else. So just follow what your soul is drawn towards. Follow the people that you feel attracted by. Follow your intuition. Follow your passions, you know? Whatever you feel excited about, whatever you want to spend a lot of time with or in the company of. Whoever tickles your fancy, whoever kind of turns you on, whoever gets you excited, whatever avenue you feel like, oh, I could do this forever, you know? um, and discern between things that can destroy you and people who can destroy you, and things that can nourish you and help you grow, right? That's basically the compass. The compass should be, am I now following this person because I feel like I want to punish myself? Or am I now following this person and I'm attracted to them because finally something is blooming inside of me? Finally, I'm allowing myself to feel happy. Finally, I'm free. And this can be applied, the same strategy can be applied not only to crushing on people or following certain people or being drawn to them, but it can be with your passions, with your hobbies, you know. Follow that thing that really keeps you up at night, you know. If you feel like spending 5 hours completely immersed in reading encyclopedias about weird diseases, do that, because you may end up becoming, I don't know, a really incredible bacteriologist, you know, or change your career. Maybe you were pushed into a certain career from a young age to be a banker or a lawyer or something you never really felt like you wanted to do, but you wanted to please the people in your life. And then all of a sudden you develop a hobby for, I don't know, clay pottery, or doing YouTube videos in which you talk about philosophy, or you develop an obsession for toys and designing train models. Follow that until the end and see where it takes you. But I think that, how should I say, we build a lot of solid things from what we feel here, not from what we feel down there. Okay, trust me, trust me. I've been here and there many times, and especially here. But whatever we build on this, on what feels good here, that's gonna last. That's not something that people are gonna take away from here. I built my entire doctorate from here, and this has proven to be one of the most defining experiences of my lifetime. Uh, and it has been one of the most solid, one that gives me constant confidence, even though I didn't end up necessarily working in the area in which I have completed my doctorate. It has certainly helped me in the type of work I'm going to be doing forward and in the type of work I'm doing with you guys here. So, yeah, build on your heart, build on the foundation of your heart. Whoever touches your heart, whatever hobby, whatever activity makes your heart happy, follow that. You will not go wrong. I can guarantee you 100% you will not go wrong if you follow your heart. Sure, your heart may lead you into some difficult places sometimes, like you may have to rebel. You may have to fight the powers that be because your heart is telling you something and the government wants you to do something else, you know? So you may end up protecting people that the government is against or fighting for a cause that other people in power are against, but it doesn't mean that your heart is leading you, how should I say, towards something evil. It just means that you are pushed in the direction of your destiny. And maybe your destiny comes with rebellion. Who knows? I'm gonna have to look at your birth charts, guys. Yeah, so I kind of purposely slowed down a little bit the conversation because I think I'm going to end the new moon in Capricorn live here. We've been hanging out for about 2 hours, guys. You are just awesome people. Like every time when I come here to do these lives, I feel kind of weird. I don't feel so good. But then I always leave very happy. And I don't know. I hope that it helps you in some way. And I hope that now you're going to spend some time thinking about this part of yourselves, yeah, that you're going to take yourself as a friend by the hand, and you're going to ask yourself, what are we going to build in this 2 weeks? Yeah, what are we going to begin? What are we going to do that just makes our lives a little bit better, a little bit easier? Who are we going to talk to? How are we going to talk to? What decisions are we going to make? Yeah. Because I think this is going to help. Treat yourself as your best friend. Treat yourself as the mother you never had or the mother you've always wanted to have. Treat yourself as the lover you're trying desperately to manifest. Treat yourself like that person would treat you. Don't wait on other people to do that for you because you could die tomorrow. And that means you just wasted your whole life waiting for people to give you what you yourself can already do it for yourself. So begin today. Yeah, new moon in Capricorn, reset, restart, new year. Yeah, new you, to follow the cliche. And even if there are going to be some problems or some issues, yeah, it's life. There are always going to be problems and issues to keep things interesting, because if there wouldn't be any problems, we would get bored and we wouldn't be experiencing things at a soul level, and life would just be empty, you know. But we have problems, so we can use our intelligence, so we can play the game of life and figure out, how am I going to work this one out, and to help us understand our own strength in the end, because we are very strong. And on that note, you guys are awesome. I love spending time with you, so thank you for being here. I'm always impressed that there are people in the chat. I'm never expecting you guys to be here. I'm never expecting to enjoy these. And yet, here we are. And yet, here we are enjoying ourselves. So, happy new moon, guys. Please spend some time with yourself in the coming period. Yeah. Please work at this relationship that you have with yourself, because it is the most important one. And as soon as I'm finished with some of the essays that I have been writing for my exams period, and I have some coursework I need to deliver by the 7th of February. And hopefully I will get it done earlier, but I will create more readings for you. It's just I'm not going to plan anything. I'm just going to follow my intuition and my heart. And whenever I feel ready, whenever I feel that I need to give this reading for you guys, I'm going to do it. Okay? Good. I enjoy you guys so much. I love you all. You're wonderful people. And take care. Yeah, I'll see you in my next one. We will see each other at, if I'm not mistaken, the full moon in Leo on the 1st of February. Okay, exciting times. Feel free to follow me on the Spiritual Cosmos, because I will upload very soon. I'm almost done editing a video in which I talk about Neptune and Neptune switching from Pisces into Aries. Okay, so take care. Ciao.